Whenever I play the original Super Mario Bros. For fun, I always use the warp zones to go from World 1 to 4 to 8. Because of that, I end up skipping 75% of the game every playthrough, and that's a shame. There's some fantastic level design in the others that don't get anywhere near the respect they deserve. The original Super Mario Bros. Has 32 levels, except not really. Now, I had no idea about this before I sat down and played the entire game all the way through for this video, but several of the later levels are exact copies of earlier ones, but slightly harder. In total, there are 5 repeated levels, all of which are in worlds 5, 6, and 7. I'm not going to complain about this, I mean, that's normal. Even if you take out the repeats, there are still 27, which is a lot for a game from 1985. And besides, a lot of the repeated levels are the good ones, not all of them, but some of them. Because they're pretty much exactly the same though, I'm going to be ranking the easy and hard modes next to each other. Oh, and just one caveat, I'm not going to be reviewing Minus World. And that's because A, I suck at this game, and I can't do the glitch to get there, and B, it's an infinitely looping water level. It would be at the very bottom anyway, and I don't feel like ranting about it. Anyway, speaking of water levels, number 32 and 31, 2-2 and 7-2. Surprise, surprise, the only two water levels are at the very bottom. Predictable, I know, but come on, they're the worst. 2-2 is nothing but a hallway full of water and a bunch of bloopers and cheap cheeps in your way. There's nothing else going on here, I'm serious. What makes this level extra terrible is that if you didn't get a fire flower in the level before, or if you lost it, you're completely defenseless. There are no power-ups. There's nothing you can do, making this entire experience completely obnoxious. Adding insult to injury, the devs thought this level was just so good that they decided to bring it back for World 7 with even more bloopers. The only other thing worth mentioning are the holes in the ground, which apparently have black holes just beneath them off screen. Seriously, what is with the current in these spots? I can appreciate the variety that these levels offer, but if you ask me, it was just too early for them. A for effort, but it's so repetitive and boring that it feels 10 times longer than it actually is. The good news is, this is the only level I consider to be straight up bad, so the next few levels are just the ones that personally annoy me on some regard. Number 30, 5-2. This level is a jerk. It immediately starts with the jumping board across a gap, and it follows that up with a hammer brother on a staircase. What were they thinking? I didn't think it could get any more awkward than fighting them on flat ground, but they managed it. Oh, and I forgot to mention the pipe that takes you to a water area. And finally after that, there's a spot with 3 buzzy beetles, and also 2 blocks that you can only hit if you're small Mario. One of them has a super mushroom that will immediately go into the pit next to it, so you better get ready for that. Whoever designed this level must have been having a really bad day. It's not bad, but it feels like it genuinely hates you for playing it. That feeling of contempt reminds me of the Lost Levels, and anything that reminds me of the Lost Levels is automatically going on my bad side. Number 29, 3-2. Perhaps the most boring level in the entire series, 3-2 is nothing but a straight line with Goombas and Koopa Troopas. There's also one singular pipe at the very end of the level, and a few blocks scattered around. That's it, that's the entire level. No sub-areas, no nothing. It's just dozens of enemies moving forward in a straight line. Number 28 and 27, 1-4 and 6-4. The series' first castle level is extremely basic, and its return in World 6 doesn't add much complexity. You jump over a pit of lava, then you jump over 2 pits of lava with a fire bar in the middle, then you run past more fire bars in a long hallway, then you dump Bowser in lava and win. Congratulations. 6-4 has more fire bars and lava bubbles, and also Bowser uses hammers instead of fire blasts, but that's it. The castles aren't great overall, but this one especially is just nothing. Number 26 and 25, 2-4 and 5-4. Exactly the same thing as the last two. Add a conveyor section and a couple more lava pits, and that's it. Number 24, 2-1. This level marks the first appearance of jumping boards and beanstalks. The rest is a completely random assortment of Goombas and Koopa Troopas with all the power-ups and unmarked bricks. It feels completely scatterbrained, and I have no idea what they were trying to do here. I'm not going to be too hard on this one since most of it was designed to be skipped, but it's still extremely weird. Last thing I have to say is thanks for not being another water level. Number 23, 6-2. This level has a bunch of pipes. That's pretty much it. On top of having a beanstalk, there are 3 sub-areas you can go to through pipes, one of which is, of course, underwater. Going through the pipes isn't even mandatory, you can go through the level just fine if you ignore them. Moving on. Number 22, 8-3. The penultimate level in the game, 8-3 is the first level on this list that I actually enjoy playing. With that being said, it's also my least favorite of the 8 mandatory levels, so don't think I'm going to go easy on it. This level has 8 Hammer Brothers. There are more Hammer Brothers here than all of the other enemies combined, and 4 of them are on flat ground at the end of the level. I have a long-standing grudge against this one, but I will admit it's got a lot more going for it than the other levels I've talked about. The staircase at the end with almost all the blocks missing is a great touch. It's the last staircase in the game, so of course it should be the hardest one to climb. And while Hammer Brothers on flat ground are really annoying, they should be, shouldn't they? This is the last normal level in the game after all. Last thing I want to mention is this coin block that blends in with the background. Has anyone ever stopped to empty this block? I know it's not that dangerous because of the hammer hitbox glitch, but the way it's intended, it seems like they intended for you to kill the Hammer Brother just for 10 coins. That's a lot of risk for not that much reward. I mean, you're about to beat the game anyway, so who cares? Just leave them. Number 21, 3-4. This one is higher than the other 4 because I like the firebar placement a little more. Also, the fake Bowser in this one is a Buzzy Beetle, which, A, it's cool that we get to see a Buzzy Beetle before its actual debut, but B, shouldn't it be fireproof? Whatever, the level's fine, I guess. Number 20, 5-1. 5-1 is the first appearance of the Bullet Bill, one of this game's tougher enemies. What I like about this level is that it tricks you into thinking it's going to be another boring flat grounds level. Then halfway through, you find yourself face to face with these weird cannons that shoot bullets at you to blow your head off. There are other levels which utilize the Bill Blasters way more effectively, but this is a nice slow introduction. The only other thing worth mentioning in this level is the staircase, which has a tunnel underneath it. I don't really know why, it seems to serve no purpose whatsoever. If I had to guess, it was because some idiot playtester fell down and got stuck because they moved the screen too far. Number 19, 3-1. Unlike many other generic ground levels I've already talked about, this one astoundingly feels like it was designed by someone who knew what they were doing. The blocks are in places that make sense, all the parts of the level feel distinct, especially the bridge over the water, it's pretty cool, and it introduces the Hammer Brothers. I really hate Hammer Brothers, but you actually get a Starman to deal with them, and they're placed in a normal way. Not on flat ground or a staircase. What is wrong with you, 5-2? I really like World 3's nighttime theme, and while the white plants are a little weird, it's something different. Now, you probably know this is the level where you can do the infinite life glitch, but I'm terrible at that glitch, so I've never done it. Although the first time I ever beat this game, I actually had my dad do it for me, and then I brute forced my way through all of the rest of the levels over the course of like 4 hours. It was awesome. Thanks, Dad. Number 18, 7-1. Now this is how you do a Bullet Bill level. This level has 13 Bill Blasters and 4 Hammer Brothers, making it feel like an absolute war zone. In most levels, you can sprint forward and jump over everything like you're a drunk kangaroo, but not this one. It's a great idea for a level, but there's another coming up that uses it even better. Number 17, 4-4. This castle is an infinite loop where you have to take the correct path to get through it. I could imagine some poor kid playing this in the 80s and thinking that they had just been cursed by a time wizard or something. I was going to write a Groundhog Day joke here, but then I realized that that movie came out 8 years after this game, so now I feel dumb. Number 16, 7-4. Another castle with an infinite loop, except this one is harder to figure out. Nice work, Time Wizard. Number 15, 4-2. Did you know there are only 2 underground levels in this game? I had no idea until I made this video. Both levels are well above average, which is good because they're both mandatory. 4-2 actually has 2 different warp zone areas. There's one in the same place where it was in 1-2 that takes you to World 5, and then there's another hidden one which you can only get to from a beanstalk. The beanstalk is pretty well hidden though. I had no idea it existed until I googled speedruns of this game. Aside from the warp zones, the rest of the level is just okay. The entire level kind of has a cramped feeling, which points for realism, I guess, but that's not a good feeling to have in a platform game. The worst example is the pipe at the end. It's really awkward to get up, and it's even more awkward to get down. So overall it's a good level, but it's nowhere near the best. Number 14, 4-1. Ah yes, the Lakitu level. Everyone who's used the warp zone in 1-2 knows that this guy has no mercy. He keeps throwing eggs until the end of time, and even comes back when you kill him. Lakitu is probably my favorite Mario enemy ever. It's such a weird idea to have a turtle with glasses live on a cloud and throw an infinite stash of spiked eggs down to give you some new piercings. But somehow he manages to fit perfectly both in this game and in the overall universe. The best way to deal with him is to run to the end of the level as fast as you can, which is pretty fun in this one. Also, for some reason whenever you hit a spiny from below, it's just perfectly fine. It's kinda weird seeing that usually flips them over. Number 13, 8-2. This level starts out with a staircase that has a hole, 2 paratroopas, and a Lakitu. I've never seen a Mario level tell you, good luck buddy, you're gonna need it, that quickly before. It doesn't get much easier after that, since this level is chock full of paratroopas and bill blasters all the way through. Avoiding a swarm of bouncing turtles while being shot at already sounds like an analogy for dodging something that's hard to dodge, so I'm spared from having to think of anything clever. When I first got to World 8, this level got me stuck in an infinite loop of getting the 1-up from the jumping board and dying in the later level for about an hour. None of the levels in World 8 have any checkpoints whatsoever. And there's only one power-up in 8-2, which is a recipe for disaster. I had to learn the exact, most frame-perfect, efficient, and safe way to survive the staircase and the race to the 1-up, just so I could get another chance every time. The emotions that I associate with this level are about 70% pain and 30% nostalgia, so overall I'd say it's pretty good. Number 12, 6-1. It's another Lakitu level, except this time you get several chances to kill him. Because Lakitu is immortal, you can use him as a punching bag in this one if you wanted to get revenge. I feel like the more cramped design of this level suits Lakitu and his spinies way better than the wide open plains in 4-1. The long staircase at the start feels completely cursed, but other than that it's a pretty good one. Number 11, 1-2. The second most famous level in this game is not quite as groundbreaking as the first, but with that said, it's very solid. I'm kind of shocked that it missed out on the top 10 given how popular it is, but I digress. The start with the vertical pillars is a little weird and it doesn't add that much to the level, and the Starman you can get here is almost useless. The Warp Zone secret is awesome though, and this one deserves credit for pulling it off first. Number 10 and 9, 1-3 and 5-3. Now it's time for me to talk about the athletic stages. These are the third stage of Worlds 1 through 7, and they're all great tests of agility. They're all also very similar, so I'm going to rank them all next to each other. If you haven't already, I highly recommend playing through the entire game just for these stages alone. 1-3 and 5-3 are the least interesting, but they're still really fun and offer something completely different from the generic ground levels. 5-3 is the same as 1-3, except 5-3 has bullet bills flying in at random. Number 8, 3-3. Very similar to 1-3, but this one also introduces balance lifts. Fun fact, you can actually use one of those balance lifts to jump over the flagpole. I don't know why you would want to do that, considering that it's suicide, but it's there, I guess. Number 7 and 6, 2-3 and 7-3. Is it flying fish time? I think it's flying fish time. Why on earth they decided to add flying Cheep Cheeps to the game, I have no idea, but it's so dumb that I can't help but love it. I might be giving it a little too much credit because it's just a bridge with nothing else, but the novelty of the whole thing makes it so much fun. Number 5, 4-3. This one goes a little overboard with the balance lifts, but I'm all here for it. It's fun to weigh them down the right amount so you can move on. It's a nice little challenge. Also, the floor is made up of mushrooms, which this game needed more of if you ask me. I mean, it's called the Mushroom Kingdom for crying out loud. Number 4, 6-3. The chrome one. Everything's chrome in the future. The weird thing about this level is that other than the bullet bills that come in from off screen, there are no enemies. That's a bold move and I respect it a lot. This one is just a pure test of your athleticism and ability to control Mario, which is what the best athletic courses should be. Number 3, 8-1. Okay, this seems like a weird choice, but hear me out. This level is just a way better 3-2. It's almost completely linear, the enemies are extremely basic, quick, there are no checkpoints whatsoever, and it still manages to be awesome. The best thing about this level in my eyes is how absurdly long it is. This is the only level in the game that I almost ran the clock out on in this playthrough, and I was running the entire time. Second, the lack of checkpoints means that if you die, you have to do the entire thing over again. And since there are no power-ups other than a Starman, this level essentially becomes a Daredevil comet from the Galaxy games. I also love the fake-out staircases near the end. You're probably running out of time by then, and that added pressure to keep going is stressful in the right way. But it follows those up with the last few jumps across pits, and these are brutal. But at the same time, this is the last world in the game, so they make them hard, but very fair, and if you understand the controls by now, then they'll be a piece of cake. This is what I was talking about in my review video when I mentioned how the controls make the impossible jumps in the later levels feel like reasonable tests of skill. The end of this level is far and away the biggest jumping test in the game, and if you can do that, then you're probably going to beat it. Number 2, 8-4. Speaking of beating the game, the last level finds itself many spots above all the other castles. And why is that, you may ask? Well, it's fun. That's pretty much it. It's an infinite loop again, but this one is a puzzle that makes way more sense than just running around aimlessly. Finding the right pipe to take you to the next section is fun, especially when flying Cheep Cheeps make their return out of nowhere. And shockingly, the water section is fun here. It's the last thing you would ever expect to see in an otherwise completely standard lava-filled final level of a game. They even made a new texture just for the walls in this one section. They didn't need to do that. My only complaint is, of course, the Hammer Brother. Putting a Hammer Brother on flat grounds just outside of Bowser's room is just mean. Well, whatever. Still a fantastic level. But not as fantastic as today's number 1. Number 1 is, of course, World 1-1. It's predictable, I know, but did you really expect me to pick anything else? 1-1 is the most famous video game level ever. It's also the best level in its game, and debatably the best tutorial in any game ever created. It even has its own Wikipedia page, which I definitely didn't rip off for this section of the review. Even if you know absolutely nothing about video games, this level teaches you everything, even if you've never picked one up before. That brown mushroom walking towards you? Bad. That red mushroom from the box? Good. It follows that up with a bunch of pipes of different heights so that you can get adjusted to the varying jump height. Hit more blocks and find a magic flower that you can murder all the animals with, then find a star in a box and kill even more. At the end of the level, the world has a new serial killer. I mean a new Mario player. Yeah, there we go. There's even some new stuff to find for repeat players. Speaking of new stuff, guess who finally figured out how to get the 1-up and go down the pipe on the same try? You all made fun of me for it, but who's laughing now? Well, it took me 15 years to figure it out, so you guys are probably still laughing, but whatever. And with that, I'm done. I am exhausted. That was the longest video that I have ever scripted. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. Or if you hated it, feel free to tell me in the comments, because I read them all. I should tell you guys I'm going to be taking a 1-week break because I have 3 exams next week. But I'll see you all after I'm done with that. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.